hardcore Hog fans, welcome back to Prediction Thursday. Here we go with the last show of the season. Ready for the Liberty Bowl. I've got my good friend, partner, George Waddell. I'm Rick DeWese. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, we've been all over Southern California. We've been to San Ynez, Santa Barbara, and now we're back in Beverly Hills. But we're ready for the game tomorrow, 4 o'clock on the West Coast. Nobody else around here seems to know that there's a football game going on tomorrow, but this house sure does.
My man, Jorge Rodriguez Amigo, right there.
Good morning, man.
Hey, we've got a special guest, the winner of the last game, Chris Franzetti, my brother. What's up?
So glad you saved the best for the last game of the year. But I didn't know we were on here to talk about football. I thought you guys would want to know how we all knew each other and stuff. So thanks for the invite and the surprise.
Hey, well, welcome in no matter what we talk about, right? We don't know where this will go.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I like
my voice is a bit, I've been practicing my suey call, so I've lost my voice. My apologies.
Yeah, I've seen some of this. I've seen some of the suey calls you were making. You sent me some photos from, I guess, your Santa's workshop.
Bad Santa. Bad Santa.
We're going to get right into it. Let's get into Prediction Thursday. We're playing the Texas Tech Red Raiders in the Liberty Bowl. George, I'm going to toss it to you. What's your prediction, brother?
Hey, guys, I've studied this for about as long as it took to get from Santa Barbara to Beverly Hills, and that's kind of about 2 hours. But here's my prediction: Arkansas 28, Texas Tech 27. It's going to be that close.
I am so entertained by your call because I know where Franzetti is, and that is the best call of the bowl game. That makes my entire season right there. Franzetti, I guess without pause, I should pass it to you and let you make fun of George.
No wonder you guys didn't tell me what this is about. Where's the disconnect button?
Where do we touch? Where do we touch end? Where do we touch end right here?
So what you guys don't realize is I spend hours each week going over the data, the positive and negatives of each team to come up with that. It's usually, it almost always falls in that range. I'm going to have to agree and say great minds think alike, 28-27 Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Look at him. It's a switcheroo scheme.
Yeah.
Hey, well, here's the deal. I mean, we have every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the football team in the transfer portal. I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about it here in a minute on how many people we're going to put together to even make a football team. But I'm going to go a little bit less than you fellas. I'm going to go 17-14 Hogs.
17-14.
I mean, we don't have enough people on the field. We're not going to score any touchdowns. Hell, I think the over-under is like 50. But
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm 17-14. All you other hardcore Hog fans can say what you want to say. I'll talk to you after the bowl game.
Well, Rick, actually, that's pretty good logic because I have been following almost none of the news except for what I hear on the very surface. And it seems like we, Arkansas, are getting especially a lot of attention nationwide on the transfer portal. We've lost like 30 guys. 30?
Yeah. I mean, we're leading I think we lead the nation.
Do we?
If not, we certainly lead the SEC in transfer portal guys.
What the Bielema going to do next year to address that?
Bielema's strategy.
I can tell you this. I mean, I have gotten more text and more phone calls than you can imagine over this transfer portal deal. And every person has said, we're gonna fire Sam Pittman. We're gonna fall to the bottom. We suck. Oh, it's all over. Blah blah blah. Well, you know what? The strategy is let them go. Let them go because recruiting these days happens in the portal. It doesn't happen out of high school. It doesn't happen with 5 stars anymore, 4 stars, all that bullshit. That's gone. Those are days gone by. The recruiting happens in the portal. So the way I
100%.
look at it is,
I'm like 12% more turned down right now, Rick. Keep talking like that.
we have a lot of guys leaving, but that gives us a lot of opportunity to recruit. And you got Bobby Petrino recruiting, Sam Pittman recruiting. I mean, you got everybody on their toes, and we're going to have a brand new team. So look out. You don't know what's about to happen next year.
Keep talking about that portal.
Well, you think about it too. Yeah. Availability. Or you talk about some availability. We have the availability, but what programs have we come up with? I mean, are the business minds at Tyson School coming up with the money that it's going to take? I'm hearing like there's kids signing for $6 million.
Well, listen, we're not short on the direct NIL money at all. What we're short on, and where we failed a few years back, was on the collective. The collective is a big deal, and the collective is mailing out or calling or talking to. It's like an election campaign. It's the people sending in $100 or $200 times 100,000. That's called the collective. The big money has never been a problem. The Tysons, the Walmarts, the Dillards, everybody and their dog on the big money is there. What's not there is the collective, and I talked about it during the Ole Miss game. Ole Miss is the winner this year in the collective. They don't have near the money we have in the Walmarts and the Tysons and the Dillards and everybody else that we have, but they have the collective. That's a big
Why do you
deal.
think that is?
Well,
I think
it does have a little bit to do with it's got a little bit to do with the Jeff Long and Hunter Yurachek transition. And if I have to I love Hunter Yurachek to death. He is awesome. He's doing a great job. But if I have to criticize on anything, we probably got started a little bit late on the collective. And I think with the Wild Wild West and the NIL and all that shit coming along, we just didn't pick up quick enough. Because we didn't have to. We had the big boys. And so the folks that didn't have the big boys, like Ole Miss, they thought outside the box and created a collective. And it was not thought of. And then every other team started kicking in when we didn't figure we had to. And we have the Razorback Foundation. I don't know how that kicked into the collective, but the Razorback Foundation probably has, next to Texas, University of Texas, probably has as much money as anybody in the country.
I saw where Arkansas's program is ranked like in the top 20 of most valuable programs. I think it was like number 16. I was surprised that we were that high. But when it comes to football, it seems like we're less than 16. I think all other sports kind of bring football up to 16 because I'm not so sure that our football program deserves that notoriety. But yeah, I think you're right. There's 3.5 million people in Arkansas, and a lot of people leave the state. They go to Dallas, they go surrounding states for opportunity, whatever. Arkansas has got a problem just with the mere population of the state and our base. And so we have to be more mass appeal. And that's what the brand, I think, of the SEC gives us, is that mass appeal. But we're still stuck in that unsolvable problem of population and pool of players that we can really rely on.
I agree with that to a point, but we also have an advantage that most other schools don't, is there's really no competition in the state. So they've got 3.5 million, about 3 million of those are theirs if they get it back, get that culture back that we've had for so many years. I think you guys hit it on the head. That's what we've lost.
I totally agree with that. That's exactly right. And I think here's the problem with is with the transfer portal and all these kids coming from all over, you kind of lose the Arkansas pride. You lose the local kid, coming back and being a superstar. I mean, one good thing that we've got coming for us this year is Courtney Crutchfield. Y'all might remember last year, Courtney Crutchfield, superstar out of Pine Bluff. He decommitted from Arkansas and went to Mizzou. And, I guess, Drinkowitz didn't think he was good enough and left him alone. So he got back in the transfer portal. Now he's committed to Arkansas. I mean, and this kid was a 4 or 5-star running back. I mean, he decommitted from Arkansas, went to Mizzou, redshirted. Now he's coming to Arkansas, and he's got a cousin that's on the D line. So I think his cousin kind of drug him along. Last name Collins. So maybe that will help. But like I said, we've got so many opportunities and so many openings for all these great football players to come our way, and you can't beat it. When you got a D-line coach like we have, and you've got an O-line coach like we have, and you've got the coolest head coach in America, then I don't care where you are or who you are. If you're in the transfer portal, you are definitely giving Arkansas a good stare. Promise.
Yeah, Chris, what you said was right on. That's the whole idea, even behind Hardcore Hog, is because one state really gets behind the entire team. And so when you do lose one of those top tier athletes like Crutchfield or one of those guys, it hurts that much more because you don't really have that superstar backup maybe that you're getting too. And that's why I think it's really important. And hopefully I think it's one of those things that we're building through maybe a process of the next 3 to 5 years with Sam Pittman, because, the guy is a great CEO kind of coach. He's a great guy in front of the microphone at halftime. He's a great interview on ESPN or SEC Network. People love him. His plain spoken way of communicating, his jukebox and all that. Once you build that kind of branding, I think then you are getting some of these 5 stars from other places that, that we get every once in a while, but we've got to really have some consistency. And that's why I really am glad that we're keeping Pittman 2, 3, 4, because I think it's a successful formula. We had some shitty turnovers this year that cost us some games that we could have had a really good season.
Who does that go back to?
What are you talking about? Who does what go back to?
Coaching. I'm going to give him another year. I'm going to agree to disagree. Is like he's had that for a bit now, and knowing that the challenge is with the portal is being the good guy going to win. And I'm not saying we need to have a bad guy, like look what happened with Trino, but is that in the cards? I love Pittman, but you got to win a lot. And the culture's time, I agree that he's a fantastic motivator. I love hearing him talk, but he also has to produce. So that's what I'm waiting for.
I'll say that. I agree with that. But at the end of the day, if Pittman wins this bowl game, he will have won more bowl games in a row than any other coach in the history of Arkansas.
How many is that, by the way?
It's 3.
It's 3 in a row.
It's just 3. But at the end of the day, but especially out of the 4 years, he's been there 3 of the 4. At the end of the day, that's a pretty good deal. I got no problem with that. Listen, we've understood that since the Houston Nut days of 10-2. Remember, we fired a coach that was 10-2 because we were complacent. Arkansas fans aren't going to be satisfied, period. End of sentence. Get over it until we win a national championship. So, that being said, I will say that going into this season, George and I called it just right. Other short of the bowl win that's coming up, George and I called it, and we decided at the beginning of the season we would be happy with it and build upon it. I am not on the Sam Pittman getting fired train. I don't want to change what's going on right now. He's a great CEO. Petrino does not want to lead the team. He wants to play the part he's playing. So keep everybody in place. Let's keep going. We didn't get any big coaches picked off. So let's go get this transfer portal done and see how we show up next year. There's no reason we can't compete with Lane Kiffin, which I give him all the kudos in the world. I wish to God we could have gotten him when it was time to get him. But everybody was against that deal. But, he's turned out to be pretty damn good.
How many more years would you give Pittman? And like I said, I'm a Pittman fan. I'm not disagreeing with you all, but how many years
Well,
do we give him?
I will say that Pittman retires before we get rid of him. That's my call, and that's my hope. And it could be next year. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying Pittman goes until he can't go. And
That's
I'm
what
not
my
calling.
saying
I'm
about
not.
me.
I'm not calling for his. I'm not calling for him unless he just totally screws it up next year. So I can't. Call for his. Can't call for his badge just yet. But let's talk about who we do have. We do have Braylon Russell. That's an Arkansas native. He'll play. He'll start running back. No Jordan Anthony. Jordan Anthony's got family issues. He's a wide receiver, so he's out. Tesla will play.
Nice.
Broden, who I do not like. Tyrone Broden, Stonehand's mother, can't catch a freaking pass, but
No
he
doubt.
started all year, but he's here. It's probably because nobody wants him. Shamar Easter. Y'all might remember him. He's a third-string tight end. He caught some passes. He's moving to wide receiver. So he's going to start. And then the running backs who have played all year, Rodney Hill and Tyrell Reed, they'll be backing up Russell. And they'll play with Russell in between. So that part is good. And then, like I said, Crutchfield's coming. You know, he's in the portal, and we're getting him. But we lost my man, Malachi, our quarterback, my backup, my
you saw
favorite backup. I mean, he went to Purdue with Barry Odom. He's going to go play with Barry Odom. He's a great quarterback. Actually, I can't wait to watch him play, to be honest with you. But we've got KJ backing him up, the other KJ, who was third string this year. Now, look, Texas Tech is playing with a backup quarterback as well. Their starting quarterback just underwent shoulder surgery, so there's no way he's playing. So that for sure plays in our favor. I think we're a point or a point and a half favorite in this game. I don't know what the bet is.
Jackson's out, right? Or no?
Let's see. No. KJ's in.
No, Landon. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, Landon. I don't know if Landon. No, Landon's not out.
He's playing?
Landon's in.
He's playing?
The only one, he's done because he's a senior. The portal people are Haas, Braxton, and Kutas. They all went to Ole Miss, believe it or not. And then Washington went to Notre Dame. Satania, who I hate that we're losing Satania, he's going to Oklahoma, for God's sakes. But anyway, here is a good fun fact. We've got a kid coming, signee from Charlotte, North Carolina. His name is Omega. Omega Blake. He's a big signee coming from Charlotte, North Carolina. He is a wide receiver.
Is it just the Greek letter Omega?
No.
They spell it out.
No, it's even better. It's O apostrophe Mega, MEGA.
Omegatron.
It's Irish.
I bet he's Irish. He's a potato.
Like Omega. I get it.
Yeah, how much you want to bet he's a bright white redheaded kid named Omega? He's from the O'Malley family, but Mega got in there somewhere.
When you moved to the States, family had to do that.
Highly recruited, but I love the way he spells his name with the O apostrophe Mega.
Yeah. So, but he doesn't get to play this game, though, right?
No. These are all this is the future of Arkansas coming in. I just went down the list.
Yeah, I like that. Because we did have some holes to fill, and it sounds like we're getting at least some early traction, right?
Yeah.
Or is it? I mean, is there like a deadline to when people can make their decision, or they can just go anytime they want?
Well, I mean, you're asking the wrong guy those questions. I mean, I'm not sure.
When does Petrino find his money?
I was asking Franzetti.
Does Petrino? When did Petrino
find his mallet?
Oh, no shit.
Mallet, you know.
Well, I'll say this: I did love Malachi last year. I hate that we lost him to Purdue, but I can't think of KJ's last name to save my life right now. Don't put me on the spot. But the kid did get to play a little bit last year, and I like him. He can scramble as well. He can move with his feet. He's a good kid. Somebody will have to look him up and see what his last name is. He was third string, but he did play. And I like the guy. He's going to be behind Green for this game, so we'll see what
Do you think
happens.
Petrino would do better with a Mallet type or like a Lamar Jackson type? Didn't he
I
coach
think
him as well at Louisville?
well, I think a Lamar Jackson type. Petrino needs a guy that can run if he gets in a scramble situation. I mean, and Lamar Jackson is the key. I mean, he's the boss of all that. I mean, last night he just set the record for all-time rushing yards in the NFL. So that kind of guy fits his offense the best because when you got a run and gun offense, you spread them out. That quarterback better be able to see the lane. And if he's got to get, he's got to get. And typically you need a big guy to do that. This KJ kid is not a big kid. Yeah, and KJ is not a big kid. So at the end of the day, you just need somebody that can run. I would love to see a Matt Jones in a Petrino offense. Somebody that has that sneaky speed that you wouldn't
Matt
think. Well,
Jones with a mallet arm.
Talon has
put
it.
that together.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things you can put together, but gee, it'd be awesome. But next year has a lot. There's a lot to behold.
Yeah.
For next year, when you have this many transfer guys and this much availability, and now whatever dollars you have become endless because you have that many spots available. You're going to have guys looking at us. Trust me, there's a lot of great guys playing lower D1 and D2, JUCO, whatever, that would love to come play SEC football, and every one of them see the gap at the University of Arkansas. They see 30 guys going to the portal. That's their direction.
I hope for a guy like it's Landon Jackson, right? The defensive end. He was a second string at LSU, and just fantastic. So I think we're going to grab some of those folks too, that maybe they're on a great team, but they get to play. And guess what? You can come here, play all day. So
I do too. That's where you find your next Randy Moss or Jerry Rice or whatever. You never could do that in college football before because those guys had to show up in the NFL to show out. Well, now the NFL has come down to college, and being the Wild Wild West, you'll find a Randy Moss, you'll find a Jerry Rice before they go to the NFL. And if you play your cards right and you recruit correctly and you bring in the pro attitude to recruit these kids, it's exactly the same thing the pros do. The problem is it's just on steroids. It doesn't stop. And they're going to have to fix that eventually, where you can't let these kids just hop in the portal every single freaking year. There's got to be a contract. You've got to stay. Maybe you can go twice, or maybe you only got one time, whatever the case may be. Bring it down to the level.
There's got to be an app for that.
Yeah.
No?
Right.
Yeah.
There's got to be an app. You got to create an app for that. It's too much. But hey, these coaches these days have to deal with that shit. That's why Saban got out of the business.
Yeah, because he didn't like all that business part of it.
Well, remember it happened in basketball. Remember Calipari, was one and done guy. It happened in basketball first, and they were all going to the pros. Well, in football, you can't go to the pros until you're like at least 20 years old, and there's a something about that deal. So you couldn't be one and done. But now that NIL and the transfer portal are in place, you don't know what's going on these days. You don't know who's coming or going.
Yeah, it is more of a pro game because every year in the NFL, your team was different. You could almost guarantee you were, there was a chance you might lose this guy or this guy. You had a franchise guy, but for the most part, everybody in the NFL starts over every time.
But you could lock the guy in. You could lock a guy in. You can't do that in college.
You can't. And so there has to be some kind of structure. The NCAA had, some structure. It was really screwed up, but they did have, structure, that rules that everybody were supposed to abide by. Now there's no rules. So you go out, you put your name in the portal, which I guess is an app, right? And then
That's right.
You get to entertain offers from all over the country, just ad hoc. So I'm just wondering how somebody manages that, or if somebody can step in. Maybe Trump can fix this along with everything else. If somebody can step in and say, "Hey, here's the rules. Let's play it. Let's play it this way," because it is going to get very one-sided for the have schools, and the have-not schools like Vanderbilt are going to have to settle for also ran all the time.
But we put it on the blockchain and we bid on who we want.
That's a good idea.
Like, come on, there's got to be something.
Is somebody taking notes here?
But seriously, they have to come up. I agree completely, and you're not too far gone there, Chris, on the blockchain deal.
Yeah.
If you don't get to a point where you do something to challenge the system to get these people, and they don't have a choice.
Hey,
Because
we're
right
talking
now,
about the government of the Razorbacks right now.
all of college football.
And the rest of the world.
Yeah,
Everybody needs
and
to
the
be on
rest of the world is a
blockchain.
great
Yeah.
point. But
Yeah.
you get it. You get it. All right. Well, that's I mean, look, we've given it a good review. I don't know how much more we can review. Not only the bowl game, but college football in general.
No doubt. No
I
doubt.
mean, we might be on ESPN later tonight for this podcast.
Yeah. Well, they'll pick it up. They'll pick it up from the from YouTube, and you
And
you can
Spotify.
What to do
Yeah.
with my
they'll pick up
hands.
the highlights.
Franzetti, you have
Thank you
been
guys
a
for the invite.
fantastic guest, as usual, as I expected.
Yeah.
Been a blast.
Thanks.
Thank you guys for the invite. Thank you for saving the best for last. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have
It's
expected
fun.
anything less from either of you, and I look forward to Sam Pittman next year.
Hey, well, keep this in mind.
Wrong and just killing it.
Hey,
I
keep
hope.
this in mind. If your score does turn out for you, you'll be the first one
What do I
on
win?
next season.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
That's a lead off batter
Lead
right
off
there.
man. You got the lead off.
That's the
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you
All
guys.
right,
Good to see y'all
let's-
both.
Hey,
Yeah,
good
man,
seeing
good seeing
bro.
you,
It
buddy.
really is, man. You crack me up, Rick. And I didn't realize how you and Rick knew each other longer than we had. I just didn't have any.
There, George. When I
Yeah.
knew I had
So
hair.
I was like, "Oh, Franny." I know Franny. And then Rick's like, "Oh, Jason, junior high." And I'm like,
way back, bro.
way back. Always
Yep,
a good time, Franzetti. Always a good time.
Amen.
Hey, boys, good talking to you.
All
Love
right.
it.
Watch y'all next year.
Go Hogs, let's
Peace.
go.
Peace from Southern
Peace.
Cal.
Merry Christmas.
Later.
Yeah.